I've been coming to the Academy of Country Music Awards for 16 years in a row now, and that's crazy. I didn't realize that until someone told me the other day, and I was like...
At 42, Miranda Lambert is finally speaking out. And what she's addressing about Blake Shelton is something fans have been speculating about for years. Their relationship was one of the most talked about in country music, filled with highs, lows, and moments that never fully made sense to the public. But now, new comments are bringing old questions back into focus, and people are paying attention all over again. Join us as we break down the full story and uncover what Miranda's latest words could really mean. Small-town roots. Miranda Lambert was born on November 10, 1983, in Lindale, Texas, a small town that played a big role in shaping who she would become as an artist. Growing up in this close-knit community meant life moved at a slower pace, and people knew each other well. That environment gave her a grounded perspective early on, and it stayed with her as she grew older. Her family background was also very different from most future music stars. Her parents, Rick and Beverly Lambert, worked as private investigators. Their job exposed them to real-life situations involving conflict, betrayal, and emotional hardship. Even though Miranda was young, she was aware that life was not always simple or fair. She heard stories and saw enough to understand that people go through difficult times. Those early impressions later became a key part of how she wrote songs, especially the emotional honesty that runs through her music. At home, music was always present. Her father, Rick Lambert, played guitar and enjoyed singing country and southern rock songs. These moments at home created a natural connection to music for Miranda. Her mother supported her interest in singing from an early age and encouraged her to perform whenever she had the chance. This support gave Miranda confidence and helped her believe that music could be more than just a hobby. As she grew older, Miranda began to develop her own taste in music. She listened closely to classic country artists like Willie Nelson, Loretta Lynn, and Merle Haggard. These singers were known for telling honest stories about life, pain, love, and hardship. Their music helped shape her understanding of what country music could be. She learned that songs did not need to be perfect or polished. They just needed to feel real. By her teenage years, Miranda had already started writing songs of her own. She often drew inspiration from what she saw around her and the stories she heard from her parents' work. Instead of writing about fantasy or distant ideas, she focused on real emotions and real situations. This made her early songwriting feel personal and grounded, even before she became a professional artist. During this time, she also started performing in local venues, including honky-tonks and small community events. She was still very young, but she was already stepping onto stages where audiences expected honest, live music. These performances were not easy. The crowds were small, and the environments were sometimes rough, but they taught her how to stay focused and confident under pressure. She learned how to handle mistakes, how to connect with an audience, and how to keep performing no matter what was happening around her. What stood out most during these early years was her growing sense of independence. Miranda was not waiting for permission or perfect conditions. She was actively building her own path, one performance and one song at a time. Her voice and writing style began to reflect that independence, often focusing on strong emotions and clear storytelling. All of these early experiences came together to form the foundation of her career. The small-town life, her family's unique work, her musical influences, and her early performances all shaped the artist she would eventually become. And as she stepped beyond her hometown and into the wider music world, everything she had learned there would soon be tested in ways she never expected. The breakthrough. Miranda Lambert's big breakthrough came in 2003 when she appeared on the reality show Nashville Star. At the time, she was still an unknown young singer trying to find her place in the country music world. The show was designed to discover new country talent and give them a national platform. For Miranda, it became her first real chance to reach a wide audience outside of Texas. She didn't win the competition, but she finished in third place, which turned out to be more than enough to change her life. Her performances stood out because she didn't try to fit a polished or overly commercial image. Instead, she stayed true to her raw voice and honest style. Viewers noticed her immediately. Even though she wasn't the winner, she left the show with something just as valuable: attention from the music industry. Not long after Nashville Star, Miranda signed a record deal with Sony Music. This moment marked her official entry into the professional music world. It was a major shift in her life. She went from performing in small venues and local events to working with professional producers, recording studios, and industry teams. Everything moved quickly, and she had to adjust to a new level of pressure and expectation. In 2005, she released her debut album, Kerosene, and this is where everything truly took off. The album introduced her as a bold and unapologetic voice in country music. She wasn't trying to sound soft or predictable. Instead, she leaned into strong emotions and direct storytelling. The album immediately set her apart from many new artists at the time. Songs like Kerosene and Gunpowder and Lead became breakout tracks that defined her early image. Kerosene in particular showed a fearless attitude, while Gunpowder and Lead introduced a darker, more intense side of her songwriting. These songs connected with listeners who appreciated honesty and strength in music. They also helped build her reputation as an artist who was not afraid to speak directly about difficult emotions and life experiences. Critics quickly took notice of her style. Many praised her for blending traditional country storytelling with a more modern and edgy sound. She wasn't copying older country styles, but she also wasn't abandoning them. Instead, she combined both in a way that felt fresh and real. This balance helped her stand out in a crowded music scene. As her music reached more people, her reputation grew stronger. Fans and critics alike began to see her as someone who told the truth in her songs. Her lyrics often focused on real emotions, personal struggles, and strong attitudes toward life and relationships. This emotional honesty became one of her most defining traits. By the time her debut album gained momentum, it was clear that Miranda Lambert was not just another new country singer. She was building a name for herself as a serious artist, with a strong voice and a clear point of view. Her early success laid the foundation for everything that came after, and positioned her as one of the most important female voices in country music during the 2000s. And just as her career started to rise, a new chapter in her life was about to begin that would change everything again. The first meeting. The first major meeting between Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton happened in 2005 during CMT's 100 Greatest Duets concert. At that time, both of them were already rising names in country music, but they were still building their careers in different ways. The event brought many artists together to perform classic duets, and it ended up becoming an important moment in both of their lives. Miranda and Blake were paired to perform the song "You're the Reason God Made Oklahoma." From the moment they stepped on stage together, there was a clear sense of connection in how they performed. Their voices blended smoothly, and they both brought strong emotion into the song. It wasn't just a routine performance. There was a level of comfort and natural flow between them that stood out to people watching. Even though the performance was professional, many people in the audience and behind the scenes noticed a certain tension between them. It was not something loud or obvious, but it was enough to get attention. Their eye contact, timing, and stage presence suggested that something deeper than a simple duet might have been happening. At the time, neither of them spoke publicly about anything beyond the performance, but the impression was already there. What made the situation more complex was that both Miranda and Blake were in relationships during this period. They were not single, and there was no public indication that anything was happening between them outside of music. Still, the chemistry on stage led to quiet speculation in the industry. People began to talk about how natural they seemed together when performing. After the concert, they continued to cross paths more often in professional settings. Country music is a close industry, and artists frequently see each other at award shows, recording sessions, and promotional events. For Miranda and Blake, this meant more opportunities to interact and get to know each other beyond that first performance. As they spent more time around each other in the industry, they began to recognize shared qualities. Both came from strong country backgrounds and valued storytelling in music. They also understood the pressure of building a career in a competitive space. This shared understanding helped them relate to each other in a way that went beyond surface-level conversation. Their artistic styles also complemented each other. Blake had a more relaxed and humorous public personality, while Miranda brought a more intense and emotional approach to her music. Together, they balanced each other in interesting ways, even in early interactions. This made their professional connection feel natural and easy. Over time, fans and people within the industry started to describe their early connection as something that felt immediate. There was a sense that they understood each other quickly, both as artists and as individuals. Even though nothing was publicly confirmed at the time, the idea of an instant connection began to follow their story. That first meeting in 2005 didn't lead to anything dramatic right away, but it quietly set the stage for everything that came later between them. And as their paths kept crossing, the bond between them would soon move from quiet curiosity into something much more complicated. Rumors to reality. After their first duet in 2005, Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton continued to cross paths more often in the country music world. What started as a single stage performance slowly turned into repeated interactions at events, award shows, and industry gatherings. Over time, their connection became more noticeable, and people around them began to talk. As their closeness grew, rumors started to spread within the country music industry. Nothing was officially confirmed, but fans and insiders began to pick up on subtle signs. The way they interacted in public, the comfort they seemed to have around each other, and their increasing presence in the same spaces all added to the speculation. In an industry where personal and professional lives often overlap, it didn't take long for people to wonder what was really going on. Around the same general period, both Miranda and Blake ended their previous relationships. The timing of these changes quickly became a major talking point. While there was no confirmed overlap between relationships, the closeness of the timing made the situation more complicated in the eyes of the public. This is where the story began to shift from quiet rumors to widespread attention. As news of their growing connection spread, media outlets started to focus heavily on them. Country music fans were especially interested because both artists were becoming major names in the industry. The attention increased quickly, and every public appearance was analyzed. Interviews, performances, and award show moments were all watched closely for any signs of their relationship status. This created a divide among fans. Some believed Miranda and Blake had formed a genuine connection that naturally developed over time. They saw two people who understood each other, shared the same world, and were simply drawn together through music and experience. Others felt more critical and questioned the timing of everything. They debated whether the transition between relationships made the situation more complicated than it appeared on the surface. As pressure and attention increased, both Miranda and Blake eventually spoke more openly about the situation in later years. While they did not confirm every detail publicly, they acknowledged that the beginning of their relationship was not simple. They described it as emotional and complicated, shaped by timing, personal decisions, and the realities of living in the public eye. These admissions helped explain why the early phase of their connection was surrounded by so much discussion. In 2007, their relationship became public in a very clear way when they appeared together on the red carpet at the CMT Music Awards. This moment confirmed what many fans had already suspected. They were officially a couple, and they were no longer hiding their relationship from the public. The appearance marked a turning point, moving them from speculation into confirmation. After that moment, public perception became a mix of admiration and controversy. Some fans celebrated them as a powerful country music couple who shared talent, passion, and chemistry. Others continued to focus on the complicated timeline and the rumors that had followed them from the beginning. Both perspectives shaped how their relationship was viewed in the early years. Despite the mixed reactions, Miranda and Blake continued forward together, fully stepping into the spotlight as a couple in country music. And as their relationship became official, their story was only just beginning to grow under the pressure of fame and attention. Country music power couple. As Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton's relationship grew, it quickly became one of the most visible pairings in country music. Both were rising stars in their own right, and together they formed a couple that fans and the industry closely followed. Their relationship was not just personal, it was also deeply connected to their public lives and careers. Over time, they became known as a country music power couple. They were often seen together at award shows, red carpets, and industry events. Their presence together always drew attention because they were both successful, confident, and widely respected in the genre. Fans were interested not only in their music, but also in how they balanced their relationship while building individual careers. On May 14, 2011, Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton got married at the Don Strange Ranch in Texas. The wedding was a major moment in country music news. It brought together close family, friends, and several well-known names in the industry. The event reflected their shared Texas roots and their strong connection to country traditions. For fans, it felt like the official beginning of a new chapter in their story. After their marriage, Miranda and Blake continued to appear frequently at award shows and public events. They were often photographed together, smiling, supporting each other, and celebrating career achievements. These appearances helped strengthen the image of them as a united couple who were both personally and professionally connected. They were not only partners in life, but also supporters of each other's success. Their musical collaborations also became an important part of their relationship. When they worked together on songs, fans got to see a different side of their connection. Some performances showed a light and playful energy between them, while others carried deeper emotional meaning. Their ability to switch between fun and serious tones made their collaborations feel genuine and personal. One of the most meaningful projects tied to their partnership was the song Over You. This song was especially emotional because it was connected to Blake Shelton's personal experience of losing his older brother in a car accident. Miranda co-wrote and performed the song with him, and it became one of the most powerful moments in both of their careers. The song received critical praise and won awards, including recognition from the Country Music Association. It also showed how deeply their lives and emotions were connected through music. At the same time, public perception of their relationship remained very strong. Many fans admired them as a couple who seemed to understand each other on both a personal and artistic level. They were seen as successful, talented, and closely connected. Their relationship appeared stable from the outside, and they often represented what many considered a strong country music partnership. However, behind the public image, there was also increasing pressure. Both Miranda and Blake were managing demanding careers. They were constantly touring, recording, or appearing on television and at events. Blake's role on The Voice added even more responsibility and travel to his schedule, while Miranda continued to focus heavily on her music and performances. Balancing two major careers in the same industry was not easy. Their schedules often kept them apart, and the demands of fame added stress to their personal lives. Even though they supported each other's success, the constant movement and attention made it difficult to maintain stability at times. As their careers continued to grow, the pressure on their relationship also began to build in ways that were not always visible to the public. And as success increased, the challenges behind their busy lives would slowly begin to change everything. Fame and distance. As Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton's careers reached new heights, fame started to change the rhythm of their relationship. What once felt easier to manage became more complicated as both of them took on heavier workloads and bigger responsibilities in the entertainment world. One major shift came when Blake Shelton joined The Voice as one of the original coaches. The show became a huge success and turned him into a mainstream television star, not just a country singer. While this brought him more fame and new opportunities, it also created long periods of travel and filming in Los Angeles. His schedule became more demanding and less flexible, which meant he was often away from home for weeks at a time. At the same time, Miranda Lambert's career was also at a very busy stage. She was constantly touring, performing in different cities, and promoting her albums. Her life on the road meant long stretches away from home as well. With both of them traveling frequently, it became harder for them to spend consistent time together. Because of their busy schedules, communication between them started to rely more on phone calls and text messages. Instead of sharing daily life in person, they had to stay connected from a distance. While this worked for a while, it was not the same as being together. Small misunderstandings were harder to fix, and meaningful conversations often had to be rushed or delayed due to time differences and work commitments. As time passed, their personality differences became more noticeable, especially under pressure. Blake Shelton was known for his humor and relaxed attitude. He often used jokes to lighten situations and maintain a calm energy in public. He had a laid-back personality that made him popular on television and in interviews. Miranda Lambert, on the other hand, had a more emotional and introspective nature. Her songwriting often reflected deep feelings, personal experiences, and strong emotions. She tended to process situations more seriously and privately. While these differences helped create a strong connection early in their relationship, they became harder to manage when stress and distance were added into the mix. The entertainment industry also played a role in increasing pressure. Both Miranda and Blake were constantly in the public eye. Every appearance, comment, or interview was closely watched and discussed by fans and media. This meant that even small personal issues could become public topics. The lack of privacy made it harder for them to deal with challenges, quietly and internally. As fame continued to grow, so did the emotional distance between them. They were still successful individually and still appeared together in public, but the time they spent apart slowly affected their connection. Without regular time together, it became more difficult to stay aligned in their daily lives and emotional needs. Over time, the combination of travel, busy careers, and personality differences created a situation where maintaining balance became more challenging. Even though they continued to support each other's work, the foundation of their relationship was being tested in ways that were not always visible from the outside. And as the pressure of fame continued to build, even bigger challenges were waiting just ahead. The collapse of trust. As Miranda Lambert's and Blake Shelton's relationship continued under the spotlight, Media attention became one of the biggest pressures they had to deal with. What started as admiration from fans slowly turned into constant speculation from tabloids and entertainment outlets. Every small detail of their lives was analyzed, and rumors often spread faster than facts. One of the most persistent issues they faced was ongoing speculation about infidelity and outside attention. Tabloids frequently published stories suggesting trouble in their marriage, even when there was no clear evidence. These reports often named other people or hinted at situations that were never confirmed. The constant stream of gossip created a noisy environment around their relationship, making it difficult for them to ignore outside voices. Blake Shelton publicly addressed some of these rumors at different points. In interviews, he denied the claims and defended his marriage with Miranda. He often tried to downplay the stories, treating them as false gossip that came with fame. His responses were meant to reassure fans and push back against the speculation. However, once rumors spread in the media, they were difficult to fully stop. Miranda Lambert also found herself under constant media scrutiny. While much of the attention focused on their marriage as a couple, she was also individually targeted by speculation and headlines. Her personal life was frequently discussed in magazines and online articles, often without full context. This meant that both of them were dealing with public judgment not only as partners, but also as individuals. Over time, their relationship became a regular topic in entertainment news. Headlines about them appeared often, whether they were attending events, releasing music, or simply living their daily lives. Even neutral moments were sometimes turned into stories of tension or conflict. This level of attention made it difficult for them to have a sense of privacy or normal communication without outside interpretation. The constant external pressure began to affect their private lives. Small disagreements that would normally stay between two people sometimes felt heavier because of the ongoing rumors. When a relationship is already under stress, repeated public speculation can make situations feel more intense than they are. For Miranda and Blake, this added another layer of difficulty to an already busy and demanding life. As rumors continued to resurface, emotional strain increased. Even when claims were untrue, having to repeatedly hear or respond to them can create frustration and fatigue. Over time, this type of pressure can wear down trust and patience. It becomes harder to separate real issues from outside noise, especially when both personal and professional lives are constantly under observation. By 2015, the strain in their relationship became public when Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton announced their divorce. The news shocked fans and the country music industry, as they had long been seen as one of the most well-known couples in country music. Their split marked the end of a highly visible relationship that had been followed closely for years. And after years of public attention and private strain, their story moved into an unexpected new chapter: divorce and fallout. After Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton announced their divorce in 2015, the process moved quickly and quietly compared to many high-profile celebrity breakups. The legal steps were completed in a short time, and both of them released public statements that focused on respect rather than conflict. They asked for privacy and made it clear that their decision was not taken lightly. Even though the relationship had ended, they tried to keep the tone calm and mature in public. Despite their statements, media speculation continued almost immediately. News outlets and fans tried to piece together reasons behind the split. There were many theories shared online and in entertainment media, but neither Miranda nor Blake confirmed most of the details being discussed. The lack of clear answers led to ongoing curiosity, and their breakup remained a topic of conversation for a long time after it happened. For Miranda Lambert, the emotional impact of the divorce became an important part of her creative process. She turned her focus back to music, using songwriting as a way to process what she had gone through. In 2016, she released The Weight of These Wings, an album that reflected this difficult period in her life. The project was deeply personal and showed a more vulnerable side of her artistry. While Miranda was focusing on healing through music, Blake Shelton continued to grow his television career. His role on The Voice remained very successful, and he became an even more recognizable figure in mainstream entertainment. Over time, he also began moving forward in his personal life. Blake eventually entered a new relationship with singer Gwen Stefani. Their connection began while they were both working on The Voice, where they spent time together as coaches. At first, their bond developed through shared experiences and support during a difficult period in both of their lives. As time went on, their relationship became public and widely followed by fans and media. Their relationship continued to grow, and in 2021, Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani got married. Their wedding marked a new chapter for Blake, one that was very different from his previous marriage. The relationship was highly visible and often shared through public appearances, interviews, and social media moments. Miranda Lambert also moved forward in her personal life. In 2018, she began a relationship with Brendan McLaughlin, a New York City police officer. Their relationship was more private compared to her previous public romance. In early 2019, they got married, surprising many fans with the announcement. Unlike her earlier relationships, Miranda and Brendan chose to keep much of their personal life out of the public spotlight. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into the untold stories behind your favorite stars.